so happy. The whole world is just beginning. We already won. It's about us all. So many beautiful deep divers here. It's a choice. So happy to manifest whatever you want, to be whatever you want. It's a choice. Freedom is a must. We have to become the spoon.
Peace. Shout out to all of you wonderful deep divers of planet Earth. We are here. Shout out to everyone who's here, everyone who's diving deep. I hope all of you are taking care of yourself, deep divers. I hope all of you are getting your butt into the heart of nature, right? Because that's the place to be right about now. Let's breathe. Woo! Breathing in that good ass prana, baby. What are we doing? Raising the frequency. What are we doing? Raising the vibration. Deep divers, peace. Infinite waters, diving deep once again. Shout out to all of you deep divers. So we got a lot to talk about. We're not going to waste time, right? We're going to talk about everything. The 5D shift is happening. Live proof and what to do next. We're going to talk about that. First and foremost, I hope all of you are taking care of yourself, deep divers. A lot is happening right now on the planet. And let me just say a big thank you to everybody who supported the new book. Because like I told you, deep divers, this was really only a labor of love, right? I said, okay, it's time to put out the new book. The first one was a #1 best-selling book on Amazon. I said, okay, let's make the second one. And I was kind of procrastinating. But it had to be done in 2025. 500 pages, 10 years in the making. Go and get the brand new book. Feel Alive 2. Unlock Your Infinite Power by Ralph Smart. There's secret recipe to becoming your greatest version. Now available on Amazon and at ralphsmart.com/thebook. And join the patreon.com/ralphsmart for all new exclusive content and the YouTube membership. Because a lot of people are saying, okay, where do the live streams go after they end? Deep divers, join the YouTube membership. Click join below this video. So, to everyone who's here, I didn't even advertise this. That's how we're gonna roll, right? Because if you're here, you're here. If you're not, you're gonna have to catch it sometime later. But we're in a time right now where you're either here or you're not, you know, and I want to say a big shout out to all the deep divers who've been diving deep with infinite waters, because like I told you, people always say, Ralph, how you doing? I tell them, life is good. Life is fantastic. Life is abundant. I'm not complaining. And when you can kind of go out of your way every single day just to say thank you, great things happen. It's not about life being perfect. Life doesn't have to be perfect. But you got to remind yourself, deep divers, if you are still here, if you've been here since back in the day and you're still here, congratulations. Let me say a big shout out to Joaquin Anda, thank you so much for the tip. Who else have we got? Who else have we got here? 888, you know who you are. Shout out to you. And Deep Divers, smash that like button, share the video. We got a lot to talk about. Smash that like button, share the video. And like I say, Deep Divers, this is your show. So, a lot has been happening in the world right now. A lot of people are feeling the shift. A lot of people are feeling a lot of changes happening. And I'm here to tell you that it's really only going to get more intense. The ancients talked about this time called the quickening, where everything is going to be happening simultaneously. You're not going to get a chance to breathe. You're not going to get a chance to even rest, because everything is accelerating right now for a reason. And many civilizations went through this period, and this often signifies an end time, but also a new beginning. So yes, the current reality is coming to an end. And a lot of people can see the signs of the times. They can feel the energy all around them that it's over. It's been over. Right now, we've already hit the iceberg. That's what this 5D shift is all about. It's about you realizing that actually you have to keep your eyes open to see the state of the world, because your children are the future. They're going to live in this world, right? So don't be afraid of everything that's happening, everything you see that's going on in the world. But you do have to know the split is real. The 3D, 5D split is real. It's happening. And you have to be able to have discernment to realize where the world is heading and where you want to be. The end can be a new beginning, always. The end is always a new beginning. But you see, a lot of us, we've invested in an old world. We've invested in old structures, old systems, an old way of life. A lot of people spent thousands in college, but those degrees are useless. A lot of people spent thousands of dollars, euros, pounds, whatever currency you're using to invest in a system which is coming to an end. It's a hard pill to swallow. When you've gone to college, you've spent $100,000, and now you realize that what you were studying for is no longer valid. This is where we are. This is where we are. And that's the reason why you have to be able to understand where we are right now on the planet. You see, a lot of people right now are starting to break away from many cities. You have a lot of people who want to go off grid. You have a lot of people who are traveling, leaving their hometown, exploring. That's all part of the 5D shift. A lot of people right now are saying, actually, I want to be free. Actually, I want to do a little samba, baby, right? This is where we are right now. A lot of people are seeing this. A lot of people are feeling this. And every single day, you have to remind yourself that you want to make sure that you are choosing freedom. A lot of people right now are heavily invested into an old world. They got a job there. They got their whole foundation there. And you have to realize that now is a time to kind of detach as much as possible from everything you've ever known. I started to do it in 2012. Right? I left my job and I said, okay, I gotta give the message to the people. I gotta inspire the world because things are changing. We're in a time right now where everything is looking kind of weird. That's an understatement. Everything is looking not only weird, but it's looking very strange. Let me say a big shout out to Limitless Being. And like I say, deep divers, I'm reading every single comment. We got a whole new setup, right? We got a whole new setup. Right? So let me say a big shout out to Limitless Being. Limitless Being, thank you so much. Thank you, Ralph. I'm embracing 5D Earth. That's what's up. Yes, I want to be free. That's what it's always about. You know, right now we have to choose our freedom. Because you see, I realize that that's your single greatest asset that you have. And you're going to have to make the choice to keep it, to keep hold of it. Because once that's gone, it's going to be hard to get it back. So it's all about freedom right now. That's what this 5D shift is all about. You know, a lot of people right now are saying, actually, I want to be free. And we have to remind ourselves, like I said, being free is our birthright. Every single day, if you aren't choosing freedom, you're choosing your own slavery. You know, a lot of people, they get stuck in a sunken place. You know, the film Get Out, right? That film was telling you, you need to get out. You need to get out, right? Because a lot of people get stuck in a sunken place. How do people get stuck? They get stuck by putting all of their eggs in one basket. They get stuck by being hypnotized and living in a deep trance. And that's the reason why right now you want to do this and say, okay, let me get some clarity. You know, when I was along my early journey, someone said, I want my vision back. And this is huge because this is what happens in a 5D reality. Thank you so much, Limitless Being. In a 5D reality, you say, I want my vision back. You know, someone has hijacked your entire mind. And if you don't get it back, you're going to be a slave forever. You know, the game is to be sold, not told. And you have to remind yourself that a lot of people right now do not realize that this split which is happening, you're going to have to make a choice. Everyone is going to have to make a choice. And it's going to get tough because you see, you've got friends and family who are still hypnotized, who are still in a deep trance, believe everything they see in the media. And a lot of you right now are starting to wake up. You're saying, wait a second, something isn't right. And you're going to have the courage to be the odd one out. You're going to have the courage to be the fringe dweller. You're going to have the courage to stand alone in your truth and realize that actually there's an amazing community out there for you. But it's going to take time for you to gather strength to stand alone in your truth. There are so many people who are going to get stuck in the old world. How do people get stuck in the old world? They're afraid. Monkey see, monkey do. They're doing what everyone else is doing. It's a trap, right? That's what I always tell you. Liberation is not for the meek or the weak. It's not for those who are looking a little bit shaky, baby. Liberation is only for the brave. And that's the reason why it's not about building wealth in the 3D. It's about building freedom in the 5D. Because that's the real wealth. And you're going to have to realize that it's about letting go of people, places, and things not serving you. You're also going to have to realize that your energy is precious. And a lot of people right now, they're focusing on the wrong things, when in actuality, everything that's coming out right now will show you that reality is not what it seems. You know, this is where it's getting really exciting. Everything that's happening, you know, you have so many people right now talking about simulation theory. Nick Bostrom talked about that, Oxford University, all of that. But a lot of people are starting to realize that reality is not what it seems. What if I told you that reality is an illusion and you are the creator? In this video game holographic universe, you can literally manifest anything you want. And it's about controlling your perception, controlling how you see things, and you can win in the game of life 100%. The 5D shift is happening because many people are starting to realize this, that actually this whole thing is a simulation. What does that exactly mean? It means that nothing is solid, nothing is as real as you think it is. And therefore, everything is an image in action. That's what imagination means, image in action. And therefore, all is mental. Once you can power this on, you can literally create universes. This is the biggest secret that's been kept hidden from a lot of people. That's the reason why as soon as you wake up, there's always a distraction. You see, you're so powerful that your mind has to be controlled. Let me repeat that. You're so powerful that your mind has to be controlled. That's crazy, right? That's how powerful you are, because once you realize that actually your mind is what someone else wants. Your mind is what they need. Your mind power is what they're trying to harvest. And that's the reason why as soon as you wake up, you got to ask yourself, who has my mind? What am I thinking of? Is someone living rent-free in your mind? They've got your mind. Are you waking up thinking of bad news? Your mind has been hijacked. That's why I always tell you, as soon as you wake up, make sure you're interfacing with Gaia. Because once you start to do that, you're on a higher frequency, higher vibration, you're in the 5D. A lot of people right now are waking up. That's an understatement. And the true battle is never physical. The true battle is happening in the ethers. It's happening in the non-physical realm. And it's about you realizing you want to come back inside of who you really are. You want to tune in instead of just tuning out every single day. You want to ask yourself, okay, what am I giving my energy to? Where is my focus? What am I giving my focus to? Because if you don't control your focus, someone else is going to hijack your reality. Let me repeat that. If you don't control your focus, someone else is going to hijack your reality. And that's the reason why as soon as you wake up, you better know what exactly you're here to do, where you're going. Because if you don't know that, if you don't have that focus, someone else is going to have that for you. This is not the time to fall asleep. This is the time to be wide awake and be planning your next moves. The world is changing. The world is changing. Right now, there's a massive race with AI. Sam Altman, you know, the founder, one of the founders of OpenAI. Everyone is trying to create this AI called AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. What that is basically is where AI is now becoming sentient. You know, I told you about the former director of engineering at Google, Ray Kurzweil, the futurist, who spoke about how the singularity where AI is gonna replace everyone is going to be by 2029. You see, a lot of people think that things are just going to be the way they are. No, everything is changing at a supersonic speed. And that's the reason why you have to be prepared. And you've got to make the choice, because right now, everything is shifting. Everything is changing. And, it's so good just to be here, to still be here, because you got to remind yourself, a lot of people have come and they've gone. If you are still here after all these years, that's because you're meant to be here, especially at this time. We're living in phenomenal time right now on the planet, but just remind yourself, not everyone made it. Not everyone's here. I'm still here after all these years, looking younger and younger, because I had to stay focused. And you got to remind yourself that right now is really the last of the summer wine. You see, if you've noticed that the internet is changing, even content creation is changing. I'm just so fortunate I was there for the golden age of YouTube, right? That's when things were really cracking, and now the whole world is shifted, but I'm still here because we've still got work to do. But I'm just saying that if you were around in 2015, you know what it was like. That information was just getting shared everywhere. Frequency was even higher than what it is right now. That's because it reached a peak in 2020, which was a symbol of 2020 vision, where the whole world reached a peak of really a higher awareness. And it was so powerful that you already know what happened. Inorganic One said, okay, we got to shut things down. But it's still opening up right again, because we're in a time right now where the age of truth is upon us. We're in a time right now where there's so many things happening. And this is only a sign that everything is collapsing. Anytime you see so many things happening, there's a rush. That's always a sign there's a hurry. There's a panic. There's a shift. There's a monumental change happening right now. And it's an exciting time. Simply because no one really knows where the world is going. The people you think are in control aren't in control. And that's where it gets interesting. That's where it gets fascinating. That's why the cat down the road is eating his popcorn, saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. If I had the physicist, Dr. Tom Campbell, on the show. And when you start to dive deeper into the nature of reality, and this is the science that's coming out, right? That actually, once you realize that actually this whole thing is a product of your mind, is created out of your mind. Everything you see is a product of your mind. I'm a psychologist. Even when I say I'm a psychologist, someone put that in there. Right? But the ultimate goal is to find out who you were before the world told you who you were. And this is where it gets interesting. This is where it gets fascinating. To say, okay, who am I before they told me who I was, right? Because a lot of people right now are still stuck with their labels. I'm an accountant. I'm a doctor. I'm this, I'm that. All of that's an old structure which is coming to an end. People are going to start to see that actually they aren't these labels. And you see, a lot of people right now are going through a lot of shifts internally. You know, there's a lot of people who are going through a hard time right now because there's a purging. There's a lot of inner work that people have to do. And a lot is coming up. And that's the reason why you want to make sure you're doing exactly what you're here to do. And also, you're not getting caught up looking at what other people are doing. You see, many are called, few are chosen. Many are called, few are chosen. And with this 5D shift that's happening, you need to listen for the call. You need to listen for your call. And that might involve you saying, okay, right now I got to go somewhere. Right now I got to make a trip somewhere. Right now I might have to leave a certain neighborhood. I might have to leave a certain job. I might have to leave a certain relationship just to be where I need to be so my soul can go to the next level. If you're staying in the same place that you've always been, you're only going to get what you've always got. Right now, it's about elevation. And elevation requires separation. Let me repeat that. Elevation requires separation. And you can't evolve until you distance yourself from vibrations which aren't serving you. The 5D shift is happening. And I'm excited because it's about time. It's well overdue. When I say the 5D shift is happening, it's a whole period. It's a whole period that we're going to be in of this shift. It's not just a thing which is here today, gone tomorrow. It's a whole period of many years, even decades, where you're going to see this shift happen, where you're going to see this split happen, where you're going to see people who are going to become humanoids right in front of you. It's already happening. You're going to see people who are going to become androids right in front of you. It's already happening. You got a choice to make. You got a choice to make. Because you see, this was prophesized. And a lot of you might think that, all of this technology, AI, all of these things, your phone is a great thing. And yes, it's useful, but it's not created for you. That's what a lot of people don't understand. It was never created for you. It was created for them. And once you realize this, you start to look at your phone differently. Someone didn't say, hey, I want to create a phone just for you. The iPhone, all of these phones, they were created because what they can actually do is draw people into a grid, a network, where they're easily controlled and tracked. And it's going to create a digital world. That's what this was all about. So this time in humanity, you're seeing people become digital beings. From human beings, they're becoming a digital being. And that's the reason why a lot is happening. A lot of children say, hey, I just want an iPad, right? You got them playing on video games at a young age. And that's the reason why you have to pay attention to where the world is going. The 5D shift is here. And a lot of people right now are fed up of the old world. They're fed up of what has come before them. And that only means that you're going to be a pioneer of something new. It's an amazing time to be alive because you can actually usher it in. I'm excited, right? So I put out that video, and we can even talk about it, deep divers, because the video I put out today, you know, a lot of the times there's a lot of gems and jewels we don't even go into. So what I can do is I can play it, and you know, we can dissect it. Shout out to everyone who's here. I didn't even advertise a show. Like I said, join the YouTube membership for all new exclusive content, access to all the live streams. A lot of people say, gosh, Ralph, where did the live streams go? Join the YouTube membership. Click join below the video. So we can play it, and we can really dive into it. Let's go. Once again, deep divers, smash that like button, share the video. Smash that like button, share the video. Let's go. Why the 3D reality that you've always known is cracking. Deep divers, you know why? Because we are going to infinity and beyond. That's why the 5D. Absolutely. We are going to infinity and beyond. And that's the mindset to have every single day. As soon as you wake up, you want to be going to infinity and beyond. You want to be going to the next level of where you are. And that's a secret. D shift accelerates now. Let's go. Peace. Infinite waters, diving deep once again. Deep divers, I'm in my element. We're out here in the heart of nature. There's no place I'd rather be. Woo! Breathing in that good ass prana, baby. Than with the birds, bees, leaves, and trees. Raising the frequency. We got butterflies floating around. Raising the vibration. Sending you tons of good ass energy, deep divers. Take that, take that, take that. The cat down the road said you feel a whole lot better now. Look, let's talk about, deep divers, why your 3D reality is cracking. The 5D shift accelerates now. Have you noticed, deep divers, that in the 3D, reality is kind of falling apart? Have you noticed, deep divers, that in the 3D, the 5D is in the 3D, reality is kind of falling apart? Have you noticed that in the 3D, reality is kind of falling apart? Have you noticed that? A lot of people have. You know, a lot of people have noticed that. A lot of people have seen that. And it's happening for a reason, right? People are looking a little bit shaky, baby. And we ain't even had breakfast yet. Can I get a hello there? Look, deep divers, if you are watching this video, so much good is coming your way. If you're ready to receive it, just say thank you. Now, your 3D reality is cracking. Deep divers, let's talk about it. Oh, let's talk about it. The 5D shift accelerates now. So why is the 3D reality cracking right now in every single country, in every single household, in every single street in the world? It's over. You know why? Because many people in the 3D reality have more dissatisfaction than ever. One of the biggest things a lot of people, you know, they message me about is that, you know, I'm dissatisfied. You know, a lot of people in cities all around the world are more dissatisfied than ever. Even though people have a lot more, people are less happy. And this is what happens when a civilization is coming to an end. Doesn't matter what you give them. It's never enough. You can have the latest iPhone. It's not enough. You can have a Louis Vuitton bag. It's not enough. People want more and more, but they're looking for something else. And that's what this 5D shift is really about. That, people are looking for something, because we're in the age of truth right now. A lot of people are after that. A lot of people are ready for that. And, it's time. People in the 3D are burnt out. You know why? Because their soul is craving for something more. Something like this, deep divers. There's no Wi-Fi out here, but there's a better connection. It's all about nature. It's one of the biggest things that I've seen, and what I always tell people about is that you gotta reconnect back to nature as much as possible. There's a reason why I've done thousands of videos in the heart of nature, because it's just really to inspire you to get back there. I know it's hard for a lot of people, but you got to make time to get back there. You got to make time to say, actually, right now, I'm going to do everything I can to get back to nature. And this is where life can change forever. One of the biggest things that I realize is that people become like their environment. If you are always in a city, it's always polluted. You're living in a congested space. You're always going to feel confined. You're always going to feel like you're in a box. And that's the reason why a lot of people walking around with a screw face, walking around angry, pent up frustration, simply because they're in the wrong environment. Human beings weren't meant to live like a tin of sardines. And it's only when you connect back to nature, you realize that actually, this is the space I needed, right? So that's the reason why Infinite Waters is in the heart of nature every single day, right? It's all about getting your butt into the heart of nature. Woo! Breathing in that good ass prana, baby, and feeling alive. And that's why, shout out to everyone who's got the brand new book. Go and get the brand new book, Deep Divers. Feel alive too. Unlock Your Infinite Power by Ralph Smart, their secret recipe to becoming your greatest version. Now available on Amazon and at ralphsmart.com/the-book. Click the link down below, Deep Divers. It is the definitive Bible of becoming your greatest version. And join the YouTube membership. Click join below and join the new Ralph Smart Patreon page for all new exclusive content. Click the link down below. Click the link down below. So, deep divers, look, why your 3D reality is cracking right now as I'm speaking, is falling apart. Country against country. You got wars happening. These are all. And, we got to remind ourselves that there was a time where there was a lot of peace in the world in terms of civilizations which had golden ages, right? No wars, nothing. And there seems to be a rising hostility in the world among countries, nations. All of these things are happening at once. And this is often a sign of the time that actually it's over. What that means is that people now are going to have to wake up and realize that actually you've been manipulated into believing something which isn't true. And a lot of people right now are starting to see that. A lot of people are starting to see that actually humanity has to do a lot better. We're in a time right now with, so much technology, with someone was saying that with, all the money that's spent on war, you can actually, end homelessness, world hunger in a few seconds. So you have to remind yourself that a lot of people right now are starting to wake up, to realize that actually many wars are perpetuated because it keeps people in debt. It keeps people wealthy who make the weapons. You know, the weapon industry is $1 trillion industry. And it's actually the biggest industry in the world. And that's the reason why a lot of these wars are happening, because it's big money for weapons. If you always have a war, people need to buy weapons. Who makes the money? So there's an incentive to perpetuate these things. And that's the reason why, like the Hopi said, the warriors of the rainbow are here. You know, a lot of people right now are starting to realize the shift. There's been a lot of people who, they were awake and aware back in the day. They just said, okay, I'll let human beings figure it out, right? And a lot of people have just disappeared. And I don't blame them. In fact, that's a smart thing to do. Because we're in a time right now where you either know it or you don't know it. And like I told you, the golden age has already come and passed. This is the aftermath. Golden age has already come and passed. And if you were one of those people in 2015, 2016, you could see how high the energy was. And you have to be so thankful that you were there to experience it. It's just like a lot of people who are playing in a treehouse as a child. They've got to be so thankful they had the fortune to experience it. Because a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people will never have that. And the internet has changed in terms of the awakening was so big in 2016. Algorithms had to change because the truth was getting out there. The truth was getting out there. Even sound frequencies. That's all people wanted to listen to. I put out a video, 432 hertz, 6 million views in a few months. The consciousness, the awareness was there. And it's still here, but it's a lot different. That's why I always say, be thankful that you were there when the gates were open. And what I mean by that is that we're entering a world right now where the freedom that was once there is not the same. Because people became too powerful. Content creators became too powerful. Right? And what that meant was that content creators, YouTubers, they became more powerful than heads of state, than celebrities, than all of these people. And you got to be thankful that that time existed. Because it's really a symbol that we put out enough in time, right? Essence of Evander, thank you so much. You're most definitely appreciated. Essence of Evander, shout out to you. Love and appreciation. Thank you for being here for us. Why is it so hard to find my purpose? It's like I'm stuck looking for one. That's a great question. And Deep Divers, hit that super chat. Support the show. Ask a question. Have your say like Evander, like Essence of Evander. So that's a great question, right? So you got to remind yourself that, you know, I made a video on purpose where I spoke about the Japanese philosophy. And Ikigai, right? Iki means life, Gai means value, worth. And Ikigai, the philosophy, the Japanese philosophy really talks about purpose in a great way because it's about a reason for being. You see, the truth is, you are already your purpose. All you have to do is breathe in the good ass prana, baby, and that's enough. However, human beings have created a very different game to other animals. And that means that living in this world, there's rules that man has created. And therefore, to change the game, you got to play the game first. To change the game. And once you become a master player, you can change the game. So the 4 principles of Ikigai to find your purpose is about what you're good at, what you love to do, what you can get paid for, what the world needs. And in the middle is the Ikigai, right? So you got to find what you're good at, what you love to do, what the world needs, what you can be paid for. And in the middle is going to be your reason for being. So you have to have that balance with your purpose. It's not just what you want and, you know, fulfilling all of your needs. It's about saying, okay, what can I really offer other people? What does the world need right now as well? So that's where it starts. You know, always ask yourself, what can I give to other people? What can I give to myself? What can I offer to someone else? And you're going to stumble across your purpose, because your purpose is about not only benefiting yourself, it's about benefiting someone else as well. You know, nature is very altruistic, meaning we're here to help each other. And that's how it's always been, right? Shout out to you, Essence of Evander. So, you know, the world is changing right now. And like I said, in the next 5 years, a lot of people are going to be, they're going to be trapped. They're going to be stuck. Because you see, children who are 3 years old, 5 years old, 10 years old, 15 years old, they don't know what happened before. All they know is the new world. And this split that's happening, let me say a big shout out to Demitch. Demiritz, shout out to you. Thank you so much. Demi Ritz, shout out to you. Ralph, I just want to hear what you think about XXXTentacion right now and the role you feel he took on. Love you, Ralph. I'm still here today. Hey, that's a great question. That's a great question. You know, shout out to XXXTentacion. He was ahead of his time, you know. He came here to really help the youth. And a lot of souls do that. You know, they just come back just to help the youth out. But he, once again, he had a great message in his music. And once again, it's not just XXXTentacion. It was Little Peep as well. It was the whole SoundCloud era. The internet feels different right now. You know, you got to remind yourself that it's very hard. What he was trying to do was really, give that universal message to the youth, because, he was awake and aware. He knew about all kind of things, even the 432 hertz. But he did a great job for the time he was here. He didn't have enough time to really get it all out there. And that's what you need. You got to remind yourself that there's a choice you have to make, especially if you're in the music industry. You can go hard and fast, or you can go slow. And you got to remind yourself that you have to be careful in the music industry, because you see, a lot of these people in the music industry have their own agenda, and you get caught up with people who don't have to be here. People are watching X. They were envious of him. And that's the reason why when you're getting these millions of dollars, you have to protect your energy. You're more of a target. Big told you, more money, more problems. When you're getting those advances from these record labels, millions of dollars, you got people on Instagram watching your page. Right? So you have to learn how to move different, but also we're in a time right now that you have to be vigilant of the energy you're putting out there. You got to be careful about what you're talking about. He said in the car that, if someone, does something to me, you got to be careful with the words you're saying and putting that into an alternate reality, which might happen. And that's the reason why, once again, you have to be smart out here to realize that you want to be here for a long time to get whatever it is you want out there. And you see, let's just say Infinite Waters wasn't making videos in 2018, 2019. Let's just say you only saw videos from me from 2012. You wouldn't see the whole progression. That's why I got the new book, Feel Alive 2, 500 pages, right? You wouldn't have seen that book. So what I'm telling you is that, you need longevity. Because the thing is, once you can say, okay, mission is fulfilled, then you can sleep at night. But it's very hard. People who come into the game as a young buck, it's going to be very difficult for you to get the message out there. You're going to have to be a genius to do it. What am I talking about? I'm talking about that even me, Infinite Waters, when I was making videos in the early days, I had to jump through hoops of fire. You don't get to this level, nearly 500 million views, 2 million subscribers, millions on the website. You don't get here by accident. You got to be a wizard to get here. What I'm telling you is that you have to learn how to move, because you see, as I was coming up, that's when the most temptation comes. When you're about to blow up, that's when you have to know how to move. You have to know how to maneuver. You got to know how to protect your energy. I was in Hollywood. They were offering me big deals. Hey, we want you to do this. We want you to do that. Sign here, sign there. I turned them all down. If I had signed it, who knows what would have happened. What I'm telling you is that you have to be careful not everything that glitters is gold. But, right now is a time where you got to learn to realize that actually all of those people like X, they should still be here because there's work to do. But it was really a reflection of the times. 2017, 2018 was intense as well because, that's when really the socials were really kicking off. And, people are chasing clout, right? And that's the thing. You got to remind yourself when you have a lot, when you have talent, you got to be careful of the places you hang out. Not everyone who says I'm your friend is your friend. And you got to move different. But shout out to X once again. Shout out to that brother. That's a great question, right? Let me say a shout out to Quantum Dynamic 8 in the house. You're most definitely appreciated.
Dom DeMarco.
Quantum Dynamic 8, shout out to you. Hi, Ralph. Thank you for going live. Thank you for everything you do for us. And any tip to accelerate X-back manifestation process and any message you have for me and my ex. I lost it in a good way. Thank you. Shout out to you, Quantum Dynamic 8. You're most definitely appreciated. Go and watch my video on that. But what I'll tell you is that, it's about focusing on yourself. Whoever's truly meant to be in your life will gravitate back towards you. It's about both of you being in alignment to make it happen. If it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. If it will happen, it will definitely happen. But it's not about forcing things. It's about reminding yourself, whatever comes, let it come. Whatever stays, let it stay. Whatever goes, let it go. Understand that. Shout out to you. Great question. And Vivi, shout out to you. You're most definitely appreciated. Shout out to everyone who's here. Everybody who's diving deep in the chat. Once again, deep divers. Make sure you hit that like button, share the video. Hit that like button, share the video, and have your say, right? The 5D shift is happening. One of the biggest things that a lot of people don't realize is that the time we're in right now, so many things are happening. I told you. The largest interstellar object has been found. I did a whole video on that. The largest interstellar object has been found in our solar system. They say it's going to come around November time, December time. And Avi Loeb, the Harvard scientist, is saying that, hey, it might even be an alien, civilization, because this is the time we're in right now, where we're in a time right now where so many things are happening, so many discoveries are happening. Celebrate this time because the truth is coming out. And many souls incarnated here just to be around for the great show. And a lot of people say, they've had enough of trying to even talk with people in the world out there. And they just vanish. They just disappear. They just go off grid. I was in Greece. There was this place where the Oracle used to be. And, a lot of people I met, they were like, hey, we just go off grid. And a lot of people are starting to do that. They're just living in a van somewhere with a cat down the road. We're in that kind of time. We're in a kind of time where a lot of people, you better know how to camp. You better know how to set up a tent. You better know how to go back to basics. That's the mindset that's the mindset I have right now, because the signs of the times point to that right now, as people are moving closer towards technology and AI, you have another section of people who are going back to how we're supposed to live. And that's why I told you the 3D, 5D split is happening. You've got people who have retreats where you're not allowed mobile phones, right? That sounds revolutionary, but it's happening. But once upon a time, you didn't have the distraction of a phone, but now people sleep with their phone. That's the reason why people are becoming artificial intelligence. When you have a lot of people, and that's the reason why right now many people are starting to see the glitches in the system, in the matrix. And right now you got to wake up. And if you can do that, and expand your mind, you realize that your DNA is a biological internet. You realize that actually your mind is an untapped reservoir of infinite potential. Most people aren't using their minds, they're using artificial intelligence. When someone wants to do something, they use their phone to do it. They use ChatGPT. You're not realizing that the more you use these things, the more your own innate ability atrophies. And that's the reason why we're in a time right now where you still want to use your mind. You still want to think. Don't just leave it to ChatGPT, because eventually you're going to be dependent on it. And it's going to make all the choices for you. And you still want to realize that your mind is far more powerful than any machine, any computer, but it has to be tapped into. And right now, the 5D shift that's happening, you are seeing a lot of people who are realizing that actually I've been programmed. A lot of people have been programmed. They don't even know it. I'm a psychologist, so I was studying this in university. All of the mind control experiments that's happened throughout history. You'll be surprised. It's so easy to program a human being. It's not even funny. When you study these methods and techniques, obedience experiments, the Milgram experiment, you realize that this is one big experiment. And if you don't emancipate your mind, you're going to be a willing candidate, right? Signs of the times that it's over. And that's the reason why I told you there's a massive split happening between the 3D and the 5D. If you don't know, deep divers, it's getting kind of crazy with AI right now. Oh yeah. Do you know that 2029 is the year predicted by the futurist Ray Kurzweil, the former director of engineering at Google, for the singularity? That's where artificial intelligence, AI, becomes smarter than human beings. It's already happening. AGI, there's a race happening between China, the US, countries all around the world who can build the super AI, right?
And there are going to be a lot of people who are going to be pulled into the artificial life. They're going to become cyborgs. They're going to become humanoids.
And that's one thing which is already happening, and this is the choice that people have to make. This 5D shift that's happening is where you have millions of people right now saying, actually, right now, I want to roam into the wild. Right now, I want to be as free as possible. And they're moving to a higher frequency, a different level. And that's what it's always about. And we have to be open to that, And, we're in a time right now where it can be tough. It can be tough because a lot of people, they invest in everything around them. But what happens when everything around you is collapsing? You're going to realize you've wasted your investment, and that's okay. For the 5D shift, you have to realize that it's okay to start over. That's what I had to realize. I had spent thousands, on college and all of that, graduated, all of that. Then I realized that actually my path is going to be totally different. I still might use certain things I learned, but I don't need to keep pursuing further and further because it's a trap. And a lot of people, are gonna start to realize this, that we're in a time right now, you have different points of civilization, different points of history, industrial revolution, a big change. We're in a change right now of the AI revolution, and human beings are being replaced. You go to the supermarket, you don't even have people anymore. This is becoming normal. And a lot of people right now are choosing to say, actually, right now, I want to go back to basics. That's the good news, right?
It's already happening. You got people who want to marry sex dolls, deep divers. It's crazy. At the same time, you have more people than ever, tens of millions of people who are starting to wake up and say, you know what? Humanity, we've already hit the iceberg. What was that? Oh yeah. We got to do something about it because this ship is sinking right now as I'm speaking. You got people still playing the violin on deck.
And, I did a video called Tipping Point. Shout out to After School, right? Tipping Point. And I was talking about how we've already hit the iceberg. We've reached the tipping point. There's no going back. The ship is sinking. And you got a choice to make. You can go down with it like the Titanic, or you can jump ship and get out while you have time left. Studio H, let me give you a big thank you. Round of applause. You're most definitely appreciated. And Deep Divers, smash that like button, share the video. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button, share the video. Let's go.
Dom the Monko.
Studio H, shout out to you. How come the world wants us to stay in the 3D to make money for a living? Can the 5D overcome the 3D speed of financial success? Thank you so much, Ralph. That's a great question. Phenomenal question. How come the world wants us to stay in the 3D to make money for a living? Can the 5D overcome the 3D speed of financial success? Well, most definitely. I'm going to start with the latter question, right? So can the 5D overcome the 3D speed of financial success? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm living proof of that. You see, one of the biggest lies you've been told, and a lot of people don't realize, that money is only one form of currency. Let me repeat that. Money is only one form of currency. The ultimate currency is the primordial life force within you. That's the real currency. You can ask a billionaire. Bill Gates said, hey, I would give anything, billions of dollars, just to be 50 years old again, right? So when you have billionaires saying, hey, if I could just be 20 years younger, I would trade in billions just to be 20 years younger. Ask a billionaire if they could be 20 years old or have billions of dollars. They'll probably say, I'll be 20 years old again. So that's also a form of currency. This is a 5D mindset to remind you that actually you're wealthy beyond measure. It's just that a lot of people in the 3D, they don't appreciate what they already have. How come the world wants us to stay in the 3D to make money for a living? Because you have to realize that human beings have been engineered, and this is throughout ancient texts. You hear of these stories that we're slave species. Human beings are a slave species throughout time. And this is the reason why moving from a Homo erectus to a Homo sapien to a Homo sapien sapien, the early hominids, the Homo habilis, the Homo erectus, they were just being in a state of hunter-gatherers and, you know, having a great life. The Homo sapien sapien has a fundamental flaw because it's the wise man. What a human being is right now is that it's thinking constantly. And therefore, what happens with that is that it always wants something to do. The mind has become an enemy to human beings because we've invested so much into a human mind that it's actually backfired. That's the reason why in Buddhism and other ancient traditions, they talk about detaching from the world, losing this mind, not always living upstairs, not always overthinking, because it's a trap. In fact, the happiest people are the people who aren't always thinking. They're just in a state of being. So the world wants people to stay in the 3D because they're always going to be thinking. Gosh, I got to pay my rent. Gosh, you're always caught up in survival. The truth is, you don't have to survive. You can thrive. You can do a little samba, baby. So this is a 5D mindset that actually I don't have to be in a survival state. I don't have to be in a survival state. I don't have to be living in a state of fear. And this is why people in the 5D can become extremely wealthy. Because you realize that actually there's an illusion of scarcity, and abundance is the truth. So in the 3D, a lot of people have been told that there's not enough to go around. There's rations. People going at each other. And in the 5D, you realize that actually there's more than enough to go around. Abundance is the natural state. So therefore, your financial success quadruples overnight. You don't think in terms of scarcity. You think in terms of abundance. So, Studio H, shout out to you. You know, one of the biggest things that's happened to humanity is that a lot of people need to be given self-worth from someone else. People identify with a label, I'm an accountant, I'm a doctor. Without that label, they feel like they're a nobody. And the truth is, they are a nobody. Because the truth is, you are living through a digital avatar right now. And everybody is exactly the same. This is the big 5D realization that can really take you to the next level. Ralph Smart is not better than you. I'm another version of you in time and space. Everything is one consciousness. Everything is source energy experiencing itself. So once you have this mindset, you realize that actually everyone's the same. There's no hierarchy. There's no need for wars. There's no need for separation. There's no need for egos, because everyone is the same thing. It's just that you've forgotten, right? So this is a 5D mind. And with this 5D reality, you can actually empower yourself. You can smile again to know that you are enough, to know that you are good enough, to know that you have enough. You are good enough. You have enough. You do enough. And you can now be in your glory once again. A lot of people right now are seeing this. You know, they're going to a nature space and they're realizing this reality as I'm speaking. They're in a 5D mindset. And, you know, the speed that is happening is incredible. Every single day, millions of people, tens of millions of people are having the awakening. And it's not going to stop. It's only going to accelerate. You know, what happens is that as AI is increasing, as more and more people are getting plugged in, more and more people are going to plug themselves out. This is what happens, you know, polarity. And this is exactly what is happening on the planet. Yes, it seems like everyone is on their phone. At the same time, what you don't see is that there are people who are taking a long break from their phone. There are people who are realizing that actually right now, I just want to be in the heart of nature, like Ralph Smart. Right now, I just want to be free. Right now, I just want to find out who I really am. And this is the good news.
Some people are like, wait a second, we got to get out of here. We got to get off the ship. Deep divers. Because they know that the 3D is falling apart. Humanity's ego has gotten out of control. And you have more people.
Humanity's ego has gotten out of control. You know, you have to remind yourself that even though it seems like time is passing by, the truth is it's not. Biologically, human beings are still the same as they were since they first got here. Nothing has changed. And like any other animal, human beings are no different from any other animal. And many other animals, the first law is self-preservation. And human beings have a default selfish gene. Selfish genes, they've got a reptilian brainstem. So you might see a human being, but you have to also remind yourself that actually they evolved with a reptilian brainstem first, before the neocortex. Before the neocortex, which is the conscious mind, they had the reptilian brainstem, which is what snakes and lizards have. That's what's inside of every human being. Sometimes you can see someone just snap out of the blue, and you have to remind yourself that they have a reptilian brainstem. You have to remind yourself that actually great sages and great masters have had to tame their lower nature, it's in every one of us, right? So you have to master your emotions. Otherwise, you're going to be an animal. You're going to be a wild hyena. You're going to want to tear someone's head off. Because a lot of people are doing that, right? And therefore we have to work on ourselves every single day to rise to a higher state of consciousness. Tatiana Kondarova, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your generous gift.
Dom DeMarco.
Tatiana, thank you so much. I appreciate you. You are 144 live, eternal in flesh. Keep up the good work. Hey, I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. And you're most definitely appreciated. You know, what really warms my heart is just to see that there are so many other people out there who are starting to wake up, who are starting to, you know, realize what it's all about, you know, and realize that the time we're in right now is a symbolic, very symbolic time, that an old world is coming to an end and a new world is beginning, a new world is forming. We have the opportunities and the possibilities to create the new earth and bring it here. A lot of people are already doing that. Tatiana is already doing that, doing a little samba, baby, raising the frequency. And you see, the truth is, many are called, few are chosen. Many are called, few are chosen. And if you are someone who has always known inside of yourself that actually there's more, and you've been the odd one out, the black sheep of your family, the outcast, this is your time to shine. First will be last, last will be first. And there's a whole reversal, exchange of powers. Power dynamics are changing. Because you see, we're in a time right now where it's all about the truth. Have you noticed that a lot of people are virtue signaling? A lot of people want to pretend they're doing the right thing because we're in a time of truth. If you aren't on that frequency, people aren't going to rock with you. So this is the reason why they were like, hey, release the Epstein list. Before that time, it was no problem. He was there on the island. Everything was fine. But there's a whole shift in energies where right now people want to find out the truth. And the truth be told, we're in a time right now where more and more is going to be revealed as the days go on. You know, people who you thought were a certain way, you're going to see them in a whole nother way. You're going to start to realize that actually you've been living in the Truman Show. You've been living in a big stage show. And this is what a lot of people are starting to see, that like Shakespeare said, the whole world is a stage. And the more and more you see this, you will realize that what I want you to do, you don't have to watch the news. I don't watch the news, but pay attention to the sort of stories they show you in the news. What you're going to see is that every single day they run a cycle of lower frequency emotions, grief, fear, guilt, shame. These lower frequencies emotions are emitted to billions of people. That's coming to an end because a lot of people are tuning out of it. And people are realizing that actually, I'm going to let go of anything not serving me. People no longer want to be a doormat for bad news. Let me repeat that. People no longer want to be a doormat for bad news. They don't want to get stepped on. They don't want to be a trash can for bad news. And now people want to raise the frequency. People are ready to do that. All around the world, People are going on retreats. They're going on a new adventure, right? People are now more interested in having a better experience, a better life experience. And that's why it's such an amazing time. You know, we're going back to basics. We're going back to basics, right? Because for a long time we've been lost, and it's so easy to get lost out here. But a lot of people are realizing that there's no future in the old world. And a lot of people right now are pivoting. A lot of people right now are making plans where they want to move their family. Is this the right country I'm in? Let me pivot. Let me go somewhere else. Am I in the right job right now? Let me pivot. Let me go somewhere else. Am I with the right partner? Are they aligned to my values, morals, and principles? If not, let me pivot. Let me go somewhere else. We're in a time right now where a lot of people are going to be pivoting. They're going to be shifting, moving around. People are going to be moving around. Forzia, thank you so much. You're most definitely appreciated. Let me give you a round of applause. Thank you so much. Forzia, thank you so much, my cat. Wolfra, sending you her love and appreciation. Hey, I appreciate that. Most definitely appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. And we're in a time right now where, you know, like Forzia, people just want to chill with the cat down the road, right? But the 5D shift is happening, deep divers, right? And it's a monumental time we're in. It's a phenomenal time we're in, right? Once again, if you are here, hit that like button, deep divers, if you support the real. Share the video. Smash that like button, deep divers, if you support the real. Share the video. And let's continue.
People than ever right now who just want to go camping. You have more people than ever right now who just want to, breathe in that good ass prana, baby. Come and join me, deep divers. I've been telling you this for years. There's no place I'd rather be than with the birds, bees, leaves, and trees. This is my...
And this is huge. You know, a lot of people, they only kind of go, you know, to a nature space once a week. But if you do it every single day, you're going to get a whole new mind, a whole new body, a whole new attitude to life. And that's the reason why I always say the more time you spend in nature is the more you get your life back. I was born in London, right? So I was born in a concrete jungle. Then I said, okay, let me travel the world, travel the whole world, over 60 countries. And I started to realize that actually we got to go back home.
My life forever in the heart of nature, traveling from country to country, exploring different nature spaces. That's what I do, deep divers. That's what the 5D life is all about. Come and join me. You have so many people right now, all they want to do.
You can feel that wind blowing in the video, deep divers. I told you. This is what happens when you're in the heart of nature. And a lot of the times when I'm recording videos in the heart of nature, sometimes it's way too sunny, it's way too hot, it's way too windy, sometimes it's raining. So it's real conditions. And this is the reason why I'm just so happy we've got classics in the heart of nature. Because like I say, nature is the best place to be. I'm always in nature, even if I'm not recording videos. But a lot of the times I say, hey, let me just show deep dives a little glimpse of where I am, make a little video just to remind you, Gaia is calling you.
Is do a little samba, baby, in the heart of nature. I said, you have so many people right now, deep divers, all they want to do is do a little samba, baby, in the heart of nature. More and more people are seeking a natural environment, because in the 3D, it's cracking. You know why? Because there's too many people in one space. I was born.
Have you noticed that, deep divers, that sometimes in a lot of these cities, there's too many people in the same area? And this is often a sign that things aren't in alignment, because a lot of people in the same area, like a tin of sardines, are busy. They're frustrated, and energy is getting projected. Sometimes people walk up to you with a screw face, a bad mood, bad attitude, bad body language, and you're going to absorb that energy. And that's the reason why you got to be careful of where you place yourself. If you are around a lot of people who aren't happy doing what they're doing in life, it's going to affect you. If you are in a neighborhood, a community where people don't have time for anybody else, it's going to affect you, right? So always remind yourself of that.
Born in London, and London is really London Zoo. Crime rates going up. You don't want to be in London.
Right? London is London Zoo. Absolutely. Matthew Brown, thank you so much. Let me give you a round of applause.
Dom the Mongo.
Matthew Brown, thank you so much. Hello, Ralph. I wish to be a CEO. What advice would you give me to be a great leader? That's a great question. Phenomenal question. And deep divers, feel free to leave a question just like Matthew did, right? So let me tell you this, Matthew. To be a great leader, you have to be willing to walk with the people. You know, a lot of people say, Ralph, you're a leader. And for me, a leader is someone who is going to walk with the people. If you want to be a CEO of any company, you're going to have to honor your customers. Jeff Bezos, what he did with Amazon was impressive, because you see, Jeff Bezos said, okay, what I want to do with Amazon is that I want to have the best customer service in the world. And that's what Amazon became. That's what his goal was, to say, hey, I want to have the best customer service. So when people call Amazon, they're not happy with the product, they can return it, no problem. So his whole goal was to say, okay, we want the best customer service of any company. And part of being a great leader is to also listen to people. Don't think that it's all about you. As a great leader, you have to be of service to other people. Let me repeat that. As a great leader, you have to be of service to other people. Now, take a look at this. You know, you have a lot of people on social media, and this is the reason why a lot of people are finding it difficult to manifest, to become a CEO, to kind of become financially free. You know why? Because they're not willing to serve. You got a lot of people who say, hey, I want to be an influencer. I want to take lots of selfies and show off my life. Fantastic. The cat down the road is happy for you. But how are you helping me? How are you helping her? How are you helping him? So you got to remind yourself, great leaders are often on the battlefield. You know, great leaders are often walking with the people they're serving, fulfilling their needs, their wants, and listening to people. So you have to also be accountable. You also have to realize that don't make it all about you. Be of service to people. If you are a good server, if you are of service to people and you serve people well, you'll never have to work a day in your life. And a lot of people don't want to do that. But the people who do are not only financially free, they're living their best life. So you have to realize, being a CEO takes work. Don't believe all of this stuff with, hey, you're going to have this overnight success. And, I've been in the room with people with hundreds of millions of dollars, billionaires. A lot of these people who built these massive companies, a lot of them went crazy. A lot of the times what you see on social media isn't the truth of really scaling a company. Many entrepreneurs, it's not a glamorous life at all. In fact, they're lucky if they make it out alive. They come to me for counseling. Being a great CEO, if you want to be a good CEO, you know what you have to do is you have to invest in your mind. You have to balance your mind, your mental. That's why I'm still here after all these years. New book, Feel Alive 2. Unlock Your Infinite Power by Ralph Smart. 500 pages. You want to be able to remind yourself that, hey, right now, I've got to take care of my mental and emotional self. Because if you want to lead people, you better know how to lead yourself. Let me repeat that. You want to lead people, you better know how to lead yourself. You don't want to be telling people what to do. Do this, do that. If you're not doing it yourself. You don't want to give people advice if you're not taking your own advice. You have a lot of people who want to lead people, but they don't even know how to lead themselves. Right? And that's what I had to learn. I had to learn that along my early journey. I was in no position to tell anybody what to do until I had done the inner work within myself. You want to be a great leader? Do the inner work. You want to be a great CEO? Do the inner work. Right? Fantastic question. Shout out to you. Deep Divers, how you feeling today? Shout out to everyone who's here. Ahmed B, you're most definitely appreciated. Ahmed B, thank you so much. Advice: I lost everything. I worked blood, sweat, and tears. Give me more context. But if you lose everything, it can be a hard pill to swallow. You have to remind yourself that it's going to be hard, but there's a way out. When you lose everything, when it feels like your world is collapsing, don't just snap out of it. Really realize that it sucks and it's awful. But then you have to ask yourself, do I want to stay here or do I want to go to the next level? Do I want to evolve and move forward? People who get stuck have pity parties. Let me repeat that. People who get stuck, they have pity parties. What happens when you have a pity party? You feel better being a victim. What happens when you don't have a pity party? You're no longer a victim. You're a co-creator, meaning that you can bounce back. So it sucks, but I'm here to tell you, you can bounce back. I've done it. The cat down the road has definitely done it. You can do it as well. Deep Divers, shout out to all of you who've been here.
Things are falling apart in these cities all around the world. LA, New York, it's all happening because people are in one space when the truth is we're supposed to be spread apart, having space, having clean air. You have many people in the 3D who are sold a lie from the Matrix, from the TV, that, hey, all you have to do is work, and forget about yourself, forget about nature, and you're going to be happy. No, people are getting smart. Oh, they're getting real smart. They're starting to wake up and say, wait a second, what am I living for? And you have so many people right now.
And this is the big question. You know, what am I living for? You know where the richest place on earth is in society? Do you know where the richest place on earth is in society, deep divers? Right? Where do you think the richest place is in society is? Shout out to all of you deep divers who are here. Where's the richest place in society? Nature, absolutely. Nature is definitely a rich place. Nature's not even rich, it's wealthy. Right? The cemetery. Thank you so much, Latoya. Thank you. You know, the cemetery, the richest place in society. Nature isn't rich, it's wealthy, but the graveyard is the richest place in society. You know, someone was sending me a video of like a woman, just like how much she's worth, and you know, they're saying her net worth is throughout time, like, and then it says she died in 2023. What I'm trying to say is that it doesn't matter how much money you have. You have to think beyond that. Say, okay, what's the legacy? What am I living for? What are we doing here? Because the truth is, it doesn't really matter. Of course, you need to live and have abundance, but don't think that it can define who you are. You can transcend that and realize that you are wealthy beyond measure. From the moment you were born, you are tremendously wealthy. Don't allow a BMW to give you a feeling of wealth. You know, a lot of people say, hey, until I have that car, I'm not going to feel wealthy. You got to feel wealthy right now. And once you start seeing yourself as a king, a queen, hold your head up high, you're in the 5D, baby.
The 5D shift accelerates. The 5D shift accelerates now. I said the 5D shift accelerates now, deep divers. You have so many people right now who are saying, wait a second. Right now, I want a family. Right now, I want more connection. Right now, I want more truth.
You know, the statistics show us that birth rates are declining, especially in the West. Let me repeat that. The statistics show us that birth rates are declining in the West. People are having fewer and fewer children. And there's a big issue, big problem, because certain populations are even though the population, they say it's around 8 billion, but they're saying now it's going to go down. Japan's population is dwindling. Much of Europe's populations are dwindling. They're going down. Because once again, people have neglected family. People have forgotten about connection. And this 5D shift that's happening is about reminding us it's about connection. It's about family. It's about the things that really matter.
Your 3D reality is cracking. The 5D shift accelerates now. Deep divers, simulation. Okay, Nick Bostrom, right? Talked about this theory. Simulation theory, okay? Now everyone's talking about it. I was talking about that back in the day. Now everyone is like a...
Have you noticed that a lot of people are talking about the simulation theory, deep divers? Have you got friends who talk about it? Do you know someone who's spoken about the simulation theory, that we may be living in a simulation? Because this is a big conversation right now. You know, a lot of people are talking about it when they wouldn't have been talking about it, let's just say 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Now everyone is talking about it, right? And this is fascinating because it shows us how reality is changing, you know, and it shows us that a lot of people are starting to see reality in a whole different way. That, I'm excited. Let's go.
Topic of conversation. Do you know that we may be living in a simulation? And what does that mean? It means that we might be living in a video game, deep divers. It's time to wake up. Now, even quantum physics is kind of confirming everything that's been talked about in spirituality. There's something called the double slit experiment.
And you know, I've always been fascinated with quantum physics, quantum mechanics. Like, when you realize that the nature of reality, and this is what you're not really taught, it is so far beyond our comprehension. People are only seeing a grain of sand in a desert. That's what it can be likened to. People are only seeing through a 5-sense reality program, but that's not even what actually is. So once you remind yourself, a lot of us, what we're seeing is nothing more than a program in our mind. And once you start to deprogram, you can start to see a lot more.
And it's all about how just by observing particles, you can change how they behave. And we got to remind ourselves, deep divers, that right now everything is looking kind of strange in a beautiful way, but in a way where like old structures are collapsing. Why your 3D reality
and most definitely old structures are collapsing. You know, when we talk about this, a lot of people right now are choosing Gaia, right? And this 5D shift happening right now is all about that, right? It's about realizing this monumental shift that's happening is because people are outgrowing things around them.
Deep divers is cracking. The 5D shift accelerates now. You know why? Because old structures are collapsing. A lot of parents don't want to send their children to school. They want to homeschool their children. It's happening right now. A lot of people don't want to do what their parents did.
And that's huge. You know, a lot of people are homeschooling their children. A lot of people are doing these things, and that's a sign of the 5D shift that's happening, right? Deep divers, hit that like button, share the video. Hit that like button, share the video. Let's take a musical break and raise the frequency. And, you know, this music is really going to raise the frequency. Let's go.
Whole squad got a war cry. Tell the enemy it ain't a fair fight, 'cause the battle's already lost. Check the scoreboard, yeah. 1,000 votes to our left, 10,000
had to raise the frequency, deep dives. I always say we got to take a music break, but that was high frequency music right now, and that's what we need right now. So this 5D shift is happening, deep divers. One of the biggest things I've been seeing a lot lately is that a lot of people right now are kind of retreating into their own world, and that's a beautiful sign. Let me say a big shout out to 5D Abundance, always here, always showing love, supporting the show, raising the frequency, raising the vibration. Woo! Breathing in that good ass prana, baby. 5D Abundance, you're most definitely appreciated. Let me give you a round of applause. 5D Abundance, thank you so much. Tons of appreciation, Ralph. Thank you for going live, trying hard to stay 5D in this 3D. I know what it's like. 3D play, some are so lost and do not think that anything is wrong. It's very hard being so sensitive. I take it personal. And, I got to tell you this, that, a lot of people don't realize this, that the 3D is okay. The 3D isn't going anywhere. It's just that you have to realize there's another level, So a lot of the times it's not about saying, hey, I'm done with the 3D. The 3D is always going to exist. But you have to realize that there are dimensions above the 3D. You have to realize that there are levels to this shit. And you have to realize that there are different states of awareness. Not everyone is having the same awareness. Therefore, you have to remind yourself that there are qualities of life, qualities of awareness, states of mind where some people can go to, where they become a god and goddess. So the 3D is it's a place where a lot of people get lost. A lot of people feel alone. A lot of people say, Ralph, I don't have any friends. And it's not because you don't have people around you, but it's because what you call a friend, you've now changed the definition of it. You're looking for soul family. You're looking for a tribe. You're looking for people who you can talk to about the deeper stuff. And a lot of people don't have that. That's the reason why there's a rise in podcasts, right? Because a lot of people are looking for connection. So they're going to listen to someone for 2 hours. There's a rise in live streaming because people want someone to talk to or listen to someone. They want to feel a part of a community, right? So you have to remind yourself, 5D Abundance, continue doing the best you can do, and remind yourself that you're doing better than you think. Thank you so much. Let's continue.
I want to be free in the heart and nature with Ralph Smart, raising the frequency. The 5D shift accelerates now. Deep divers, your 3D reality is cracking. You know why? Because a lot of people are sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. And they realize that this modern life, even though people have more, they're less happy.
Are you sick and tired of feeling sick and tired? Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? A lot of people in the modern world are burnt out. A lot of people in the modern world are exasperated, exhausted, come to their wits' end. And this is the reason why things are falling apart. A lot of people are going to have big breakdowns because they are forcing themselves to do something they really don't want to do.
Go figure. Like, people right now are living better than Queen Victoria. It's crazy. You are living a better life than most kings and queens lived hundreds of years ago. At the same time, more and more people are unhappy, dissatisfied, because it's something called the paradox of choice. A lot of people right now are starting to wake up to say, you know what, right now it's time to go back to basics. I don't need all of this stuff. What I need is connection. What I need is community. And right now, you got so many heart-based communities forming. Infinite Waters is one of them.
And 5D Abundance is also another one of them. And that's this 5D shift that's really happening right now. You know, people are going back to heart-based communities, and it's happening. You know, it is happening, where more and more people are going back to community. People are craving, they're craving for that. They want that. They want to experience that. They want to feel that. And as people get isolated, more and more people are going to start to realize that actually it is time for community, a community of like minds. And that's why I started Infinite Waters, because there are amazing souls on this channel, amazing beings who I've connected with. I'm so thankful for that. And people who have met other people through Infinite Waters, because I always say use the comment section to find people, link with people. There's someone who actually got married. They met someone through my channel. They got married through Infinite Waters. I'm like, that's fantastic. That's what it's always about. So these communities like Infinite Waters connect with other people you see on these platforms.
Raising the frequency. And deep divers, there will be more retreats, more gatherings, because it's really time for that, right? So get ready for that. But your three.
And definitely, you know, more Infinite Waters retreats on the way. 2026, it's already lined up. And get ready for it, you know. Global. Africa, South America, North America, Europe. We got it all covered. It's about that time. It's about that time, deep divers.
3D reality is cracking. The 5D shift accelerates now. You have more and more people leaving cities, leaving urban spaces, congested neighborhoods.
And that's what you're going to see. You're going to see more and more people leave cities. It's already happening, because you see a lot of people believe that the city was the only way to make it. I went to university in Westminster, University of Westminster. So I was there for 5 years. In central London for 5 years. Do you know what you can learn? Being in a busy city, about yourself, you learn a whole lot about what you don't need. And you realize that it's about going back to nature. Jacob, thank you so much. It's real. You're most definitely appreciated.
Dom DeMarco.
Thank you so much, Jacob. I definitely appreciate that. So you realize that a lot of people in these cities are full of competition. There's a lot of ego, and there's a lot of disconnection. And right now, more and more people are going to be leaving busy cities, congested cities, overcrowded cities, and they're going to head back to nature. They're going to head back to the open space. And it's already happening. And it's going to continue to accelerate to happen, because more and more people are starting to get it. And you know, you hear of these stories of people who leave their job, who quit their business, who sell their home, who take their whole family and they go somewhere else. It's happening right now. People, you know, they write to me, they say, Ralph, I took my whole family out of this busy city and we're now living somewhere in the heart of nature. I'm like, okay, that's fantastic. We're in this kind of time right now, and that's what this 5D shift, which is happening, is all about. Everyone is going to be called up to make that choice, make that decision. It's going to be a big choice, a big decision that you're going to have to make. Say, actually, what do I want the next 10 years to look like? What do I want the next 5 years to look like? What do I want the next 3 years to look like? If you're not making these plans right now, you're going to be stuck and trapped. In chess, you always have to think one step ahead of your opponent. And that's what a lot of people are starting to do right now. Because you see, a lot of people are realizing that, you see, a human being, and, you know, it's like a bittersweet symphony, because you see, with this AI revolution that's happening right now, human beings are losing their relevancy. In other words, AI can replace a lot of human beings already right now. Certain jobs, you go to the supermarket, AI is already there. Self-service machines. And you have to find something right now that AI can't replace. And that's your unique energy. That's your God-given talents and gifts and all of that. But if you're just going to be regular Joe Smo on the street, AI is going to replace you. If you think that you're going to be safe in your regular job in the city, just wait until something happens. So you have to be able to say, actually, okay, let me cultivate my own unique talents and gifts. Let me cultivate my unique energy, and let me find out how to do something that AI can't replicate. AI can't do this. Woo! Breathing in that good ass prana, baby. Can't do it like Ralph Smart Deep Divers. Find something AI can't do. Right? Because it's happening. We're in a time right now where the great shift is upon us.
Neighborhoods who just want to be free. They're traveling to nature spaces, forests, going to different nature reserves. You know why? Because they're like, actually, I want to feel alive. Actually, I want a sense of belonging, a sense of community. This is the reason why your 3D reality is cracking.
And that's what's happening right now. You have people who are paying a lot of money in cities, who are paying just to go somewhere where there's a lot of trees, a lot of forests, a lot of ocean, right? So it's happening. Kayleen Page, thank you so much. I definitely appreciate you. Thank you so much for your generous support. Kayleen Page, thank you so much. Ralph, just want to say thank you for showing up and creating this safe space. That's what I'm here to do. I love to be here. And like I say, shout out to you, Kayleen Page, for you also being here, because we are only as strong as the people we surround ourselves with, and together we're stronger. You know, I can't do this by myself. I need help. I need a community. I need people around me. And that's what Infinite Waters provides. And shout out to you. Infinite Light Wizardry, thank you so much. You're most definitely appreciated. Infinite Light Wizardry. Let me give you a round of applause.
Dom DeMarco.
Infinite Light Wizardry, congratulations. Thank you, Ralph, on my home stretch of my first book. Hey, much love. Hey, send me the book Infinite Light Wizardry, I'm going to support it. I'm going to buy a copy, because you got to remind yourself, deep divers, that don't underestimate your power to actually leave something in writing where your children's children can see and read, and other people all around the world can read. Feel Alive, #1 best-selling book on Amazon. Triathlon: The Love of the Galaxy, a novel set in 2049 in the age of nanotechnology, also on Amazon. And the latest book, Feel Alive 2. So I've published 3 books on Amazon, and 4 books actually. Book of 1111 Infinite Quotes, right? And Infinite Light Wizardry, congratulations, because you see, books are still important. You know, to leave that message in writing is so important, so fundamental. And once you can put it in writing, you've left something that future generations can see, be inspired by, and look up to. Congratulations. Shout out to all of you deep divers. Once again, make sure you smash that like button, share the video. Smash that like button, share the video, deep divers. We're here. Have your say as well. What do you think about the 5D shift that's happening right now, deep divers? And what to do next? Have your say.
The 5D shift accelerates now. A lot of people right now are starting to see through the media. Like the media, their job is not to inform you about what is happening. Their job is to control how you think about what is happening. Slow motion this side. I said the media's job is not to inform you.
And this is what you have to really be aware of, that anytime you see a news story, it's not being created to inform you about what's really happening. It's happening. What's going on is that they want to control how you think about what is happening. And this is key, that anytime you read a story, don't just take it as face value. Always question it to say, okay, what is the intention? In what way do they want me to think about what's happening? Right? So it's not just about informing you. It's about how they want you to think about what is happening, right?
You about what is happening. Their job is to manipulate your way of thinking, to make you believe what they want you to. Deep divers, a lot of people are starting to wake up. Look, your 3D reality is cracking. The 5D shift accelerates now. Deep divers, I'm still here, looking 23, living my best life. Because I know one thing, that being free is our birthright. You have so many people in the...
And this is the biggest thing, you know, being free is your birthright. You know, I always tell you that part of this 5D shift that's happening is about freedom. It's about saying, actually, this is what you have to hold on to. That's the ultimate salvation.
3D who are trapped. They got all of this money, but they're stuck. And right now, to move into the 5D, you want to be flexible. You want to prioritize freedom. You want to prioritize mental health, emotional health. And there's been a shift towards that. You know why? Because we are in the age of truth. The truth is coming out, right? A lot of people are like, actually,
Quicksilver, thank you so much. Book of 1111, I already own it. I have connected. Hey, I appreciate that. Quicksilver, shout out to you. And if you don't know, deep divers, I have a book of 1111 Infinite Quotes, right? 1011 quotes. ralphsmart.com/the book. Go and pick it up. You're gonna love it. Like Quicksilver, okay? Become your greatest version.
What's going on in the world? They've always got us distracted, and they're never ever going to release the Epstein list. They were never going to release it anyway, deep divers. Focus on yourself. Everything out there is a distraction from who you really are. Gods and goddesses in amnesia, but you don't hear me though. Raising the frequency. Oh, deep divers, it's starting to feel like that old Infinite Waters again. Your 3D reality is cracking. The 5D shift accelerates now. You have more and more people who want to eat from nature's pharmacy. That's right. Goji berries, blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, cherries, anything with Aries. Blackberries are so healthy, full of antioxidants. A lot of people want to start eating berries.
And this is a fascinating thing, deep divers, is that you can literally pick blackberries in the heart of nature, apples, oranges, and it's free. And it's healthy, full of vitamins that you need. And this is a 5D mindset to say, actually, let me go around where I live or go somewhere where I can find some food in the heart of nature. It's going to be a lot different than the food you find in the, it's going to be a lot different than the food you find in the supermarket. You know, I was in Greece and there was this massive orange tree. I plucked some oranges out of the tree. I started to eat the oranges. I felt a million times stronger because I was eating organic, fresh, just picked oranges. It's totally different from oranges you buy in the supermarket. And that's the key. You know, eat as close to earth as you can because it's going to take you to the next level.
They want to start getting in shape because the 3D is making a lot of people sick. Deep divers, I'm still here, well and healthy, because I realize that your body is a temple, but you have to exercise it every single day. You have to place it in the right environment. And that's the reason why the 5D shift accelerates now. A lot of people are saying, actually, this body vehicle, I've got to service it. You got to send your body to the service center, deep divers, tune it up, right? That's the
and that's the big thing. You know, a lot of times, you know, with this 5D shift that's happening, a lot of people don't realize that we all got to do body work. We've all got to get our bodies in shape. You know, the only way I've been able to produce so much content is because I'm doing a lot of exercise every single day for hours. You know, because you can only be here this long, this consistent. You can only do that if you got a good body vehicle working for you. So this also ties back into abundance, financial freedom, and all of these things. If you have a dream, if you have a plan, you got to ask yourself, am I physically fit? Am I going for a long walk? Am I going to the gym? These are things which a lot of people don't do. And that's the reason why they never manifest what they truly want. Right?
reason why I'm in the heart of nature every single day doing push-ups. Deep divers. Your 3D reality is cracking now. The 5D shift accelerates now. When I was finishing university, they're like, Ralph, do you want to do a PhD? Because you're really like, I got like the top grades, right? And I'm like, no. I knew back then that I don't want to do like a PhD. Ain't nobody got time for that. You know why? Because I want to be free.
And, you know, if you got a PhD, shout out to you. But you have to remind yourself that we're in a time right now where it's not always about having these accolades of prestige, so-called. It's about getting your time back. There are people who never even went to college who are doing just fine. So don't be fooled into thinking that you need more qualifications.
I don't want to keep learning stuff that's man-made. I want to learn from Gaia. Slow motion this side. Ain't nobody got time for that. A lot of people are quitting their 9 to 5. Ain't nobody got time for that. But I need to survive, Ralph. Nature is abundant, deep divers. I'm here in the heart of nature. I am wealth. I am wealth. I am wealth. I'm rich. Realizing I create happiness, I'm wealthy as well.
And don't get it twisted, we're still living in this world. Like I did, if you haven't seen the video on purpose, go and check it out. The Japanese word, ikigai, and this is phenomenal in terms of purpose. You have to really, the ikigai is in the middle. You go through the 4 principles. What am I good at? What do I love to do? What can I get paid for? And what does the world need? And this is going to help you balance yourself out in an awesome way.
I transcend money. Deep divers, why your 3D reality is cracking. The 5D shift accelerates now. Look, this is really key because a lot of people have new information. This being the information age, it's a beautiful time. People are reading things. People are talking to people, and people are seeing that actually we've all been separated, and people at the top are controlling us. And now people are like, actually, we need to come together. And that's what's happening all around the world. People are putting aside their differences and saying, actually, let's come together. Let's realize it's one humanity. Let's realize we're all connected. Your 3D reality is cracking. The 5D shift accelerates now. Look, a lot of people right now, they feel alone. That's a sign the 3D reality is cracking. Now, on the flip side, they're also feeling more connected to everyone.
And that's the thing, a lot of people feel alone right now, especially in the 3D. The 5D, you might feel alone, but then you realize that actually your soul tribe is out there. Other people just like you are out there. And you have you've got more of a connection. You have more of a connection, and it's amazing. But there are a lot of people in the 3D who are going to feel very isolated as time goes on.
Everything around them. That's a sign that the 5D shift accelerates now, because people are like, actually, people are so disconnected in the 3D, but in the 5D, everyone's connected. And that's the beauty of it, deep divers. Your 3D reality is cracking now. The 5D shift accelerates now. The beautiful time we're in right now, deep divers, is a time where anything is possible. The 5D symbolizes love, and love is the truth. Fear is the illusion. And right now, a lot of people are choosing love over fear. I'm excited. The cat down the road is definitely excited. And that's the reason why I'm just saying, feels so good to be alive, baby. Can I get a hello? There. Deep divers, let's breathe. Woo! Breathing in that good ass prana, baby. I want all of you right now to smash that like button if you support the real. Share the video. Subscribe to the channel. Once again, hit the like button right now if you support the real. Share the video. Subscribe to the channel. And join the YouTube membership. Click join below this video. Join the new Ralph Smart Patreon page for all new exclusive content. Click the link down below. Go and get the brand new book, Feel Alive 2, Unlock Your Infinite Power by Ralph Smart. Their secret recipe to becoming your greatest version. Now out on Amazon and at ralphsmart.com/the book. 500 pages, deep divers. It's the Bible of becoming your greatest version. Click the link down below. You want a one-to-one consultation with me so I can help you become your greatest version? Book a session at ralphsmart.com/one-to-one sessions. Go and get the good ass prana shirts, deep divers, all new designs you're gonna love for men, women, children, even cats down the road at ralphsmart.com/clothes and spreadshirt.com if you're in America. And if you're a sexy ass model, woo, with a whole lot of heart, you want to model the clothing, well, go and buy some. They tried to bury us, deep divers. They forgot we were seeds. Peace. Infinite waters, diving deep once again. Stay well, stay healthy. Peace. You! Once again, deep divers, smash that like button if you support the real. Share the video, subscribe to the channel. Once again, hit the like button right now if you support the real. Share the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below of gratitude and appreciation. One love. Peace.
So, deep divers, we've really covered a lot in this beautiful stream and powerful show. I want to thank everyone who's been here, and it feels good to be back. If you haven't already, deep divers, join the YouTube membership. Click join below this video to get access to all the live streams, exclusive videos you're gonna love. Join the Patreon page, patreon.com/RalphSmart. I've got over 100 videos only on Patreon, not on the YouTube channel, only on Patreon. And videos are there every single week, new videos, and there's going to be even more to talk about, right? So join the patreon.com/RalphSmart. Of course, get the book, Feel Alive, the first one, on Amazon. Get the book of 1111 Infinite Quotes. Get Triathlon, the Love of a Galaxy. Get the new book, 2025, The Bible of Becoming Your Greatest Version, 500 pages. Feel Alive 2, Unlock Your Infinite Power by Ralph Smart, now out on Amazon and at ralphsmart.com/thebook. So deep divers, we're in a powerful time. We're in a time right now where a lot of people are realizing that they need to be as free as they can be, because the 3D is collapsing, things are falling apart, and if you know, you know. The 5D, on the other hand, is where the world is just beginning. I'm excited. I'm elated. I'm doing a little samba, baby. Raising the frequency. Deep divers, to everyone who's been here, thank you so much. Let me say a special shout out to 5D Abundance, who's always supporting the show. Studio H, Healing Honey, Aaron, XYZ, Sacred Intuition. Shout out to Age of Aquarius. Shout out to Brittany Johnson. Shout out to Woman of Wood. Shout out to One Stellar Life. Aloha, right? I need to go back to Hawaii immediately. Aloha, shout out to you, right? You rock as well, right? Like I say, it's not about me, it's about us. It's not about me, it's about us. It's not about me, it's about us. And right now, a lot is going to happen, deep divers. Just remind yourself there's nothing to be afraid of once you're walking in the light, and once you're reminding yourself that actually this is a time where a new world is being formed. I'm excited. To everyone who's been here, smash that like button right now. Share the video. If you're on this live and you support the real, smash that like button. And deep divers, let's go 80s. Let's go 80s, deep divers. Pull up that track.
I'm so happy. The whole world is just beginning. We already won. It's about us all. So many beautiful deep divers here. So happy. to manifest whatever you want, to be whatever you want. It's a choice. Freedom is a must. We have to become the spoon.
Okay, deep divers, much love to all of you. Peace, love, and harmony. Peace.